The aim of this video is to talk about the Phonics Screening Check, which for children in Year 1 and some Year 2 children will be taking in June 2025. We're going to recap phonics, including the terminology, share some links to the Little Wandle scheme that we use in school, recap the teaching order and the phases covered, explain the phonics screening check, including alien words and what the test involves, and share ways to prepare your child for the phonics screening check, including useful information, activities and websites. Have a look at the terminology we use in school to talk about phonics and pause the video. See if you know what each word means. Phoneme is the smallest unit of sound. A grapheme is how a sound is written. A digraph is 2 letters making one sound. A trigraph is 3 letters making one sound. Split vowel digraphs are digraphs which are separated by a grapheme. To blend is to put sounds together to read, and to segment is to break words up in order to spell. We're now going to talk about how we teach phonics at school using the Little Wandle Letters and Sounds Revised scheme. Phonics is making connections between the sounds of our spoken words and the letters that are used to write them down. These can be known as grapheme-phoneme correspondences or GPCs. Available in the Parents section of the Little Wandle website, you'll find some really useful videos. These show children pronouncing the sounds for each of the graphemes taught. You'll also find all of the phase 2 and 3 graphemes in order of teaching, the mnemonics that we use, and how we pronounce the sounds. We'll usually teach 4 new sounds a week and have a review lesson on a Friday. Here are the phase 2 sounds which are taught in reception in the autumn term. These are the phase 3 sounds which are taught in reception in the spring term. You'll see there are digraphs, 2 letters making one sound, and trigraphs, 3 letters making one sound. In the summer term of reception, children will be on phase 4. There won't be any new graphemes for the children to learn, but they will be consolidating their knowledge of the graphemes and using them to read words with adjacent consonants, longer words, compound words, and words with the following endings. Within phase 4, sometimes children do struggle to pronounce words with adjacent consonants, such as SPR in spring and STR in strawberry. So it might be a good idea to encourage your child to pronounce these words correctly. Here are some further examples of phase 4 words with ing, est, id, and d at the end. There's also 2-syllable words with short vowels and long vowels. As children enter Year 1, we start to expand on the graphemes taught, including alternative ways to write a phoneme. and alternative phonemes for graphemes. For example, OW has two sounds, OW as in owl and O as in snow. Children do not need to know all of the Phase 5 sounds for the Phonics Screening Check. I will send a document outlining the GPCs needed for the Phonics Screening Check, and I'll also create a video of these so that you can practice them at home with your child. More about the Phonics Screening Check in detail. This is what the Phonics Screening Check looks like. All children in Year 1 are expected to take the Phonics Screening Check in June. In June, all Year 1 children and some Year 2 children will take a Phonics Screening Check. This will be done one-to-one with a teacher or LSA who is trained in phonics and who is well known to the child. It will be carried out in a comfortable and quiet space, away from any distractions. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and a break can be given if needed. If a child is absent during the Phonics Screening Check, they will take the check the following week on their return. If a child is not able to take the Phonics Screening Check, the score of 0 will be recorded. Any children who don't pass the Phonics Screening Check in Year 1 will resit their Phonics Screening Check in June the following year when they're in Year 2. During the check, children may use a pencil to add sound buttons to the words if this is preferable to the child. The teacher cannot do this for them. The Phonics Screening Check assesses a child's knowledge of the grapheme-phoneme correspondence and their skills in blending in order to decode or read unfamiliar words. If a child does not meet the expected standard, which is usually 32 out of 40, they will receive targeted intervention into Year 2 to ensure that every child achieves this by the end of Year 2. If your child does pass the Phonics Screening Check, this does not mean that they have finished phonics. There are still many graphemes to learn and consolidate. It also doesn't mean that a child is a competent reader, as there are many other skills to consider, such as fluency and automaticity, knowledge of tricky words, use of prosody, and their ability to understand the text they have read, in other words, comprehension. This is checked from Year 1 summer term through fluency assessments. The Phonics Screening Check is introduced to the child, and then a practice sheet is discussed to familiarise the child with the test. During the practice sheet, the teacher can remind a child to sound out and blend to read the words. But during the test, the teacher cannot encourage the child to blend the sounds together to read the word. So if the child just says the sounds, this cannot be accepted as correct. On each page of the Phonics Screening Check, the teacher will tell the child whether the words are real words or alien words. The teacher can point to the next whole word to be read, but they cannot move their finger in a way that would encourage blending or direction. If a child sounds out the word but does not blend it, the teacher cannot remind them to blend the sounds. The final attempt is scored, even if a previous attempt was correct. If a child is struggling, the teacher can stop the check. They can either offer a break or end the check completely. Any acceptable regional pronunciations can be accepted, even if they're not within the usual accent of the child. If a child has difficulty pronouncing a speech sound, such as Difficulties with pronunciation can be accepted if these are normal for the child. Encouragement can be given, but the teacher cannot say if a child has read the word correctly or not. Alternative pronunciations of graphemes can only be accepted when reading the pseudo words or alien words. For example, ow in cow cannot be accepted in snow because this is a real word. The reason for using alien words is to ensure that children have the skills to decode unfamiliar words, words they have not come across before, and that they're not reading from sight memory. The Phonics Screening Check is usually made up of 40 words. Teachers do not know the pass mark for 2025, but in the past it has always been 32 out of 40. The Gov.uk website has lots of past test materials which can be downloaded. There is further information available in the Parents section of the Little Wandle website on the Phonics Screening Check. You can also watch a training video showing the acceptable and unacceptable pronunciations of real and alien words. The Phonics Screening Check is made up of 2 sections. Section 1 covers simple or shorter word structures. Section 2 contains a variety of more complex word structures. As I said earlier, I will be sending out an outline of the phonemes for the graphemes used within the Phonics Screening Check. Here are some ways that you can prepare your child for the Phonics Screening Check. Continue to consolidate the graphemes for the phase 2, 3 and 5 sounds in real words. Identify and say the graphemes in an alien word, then sound out loud and blend to read the whole word. With your child, you could create alien words using the graphemes from phases 2 to 5 and blend these to read them. We never encourage children to write alien words, but you could write the alien words onto cards and hide them around the house. When your child finds one, encourage them to decode it by sounding it out and then blending the sounds to read the words. You could also place them up the stairs and the child could pick them up, say the sounds, and then blend to read them. You could look at past Phonics Check papers and encourage your child to highlight or add sound buttons to the digraphs, trigraphs and split digraphs as they find them. Remind your child to say the sounds and then blend to read the word. You can use the grapheme chart and information on Phase 5 sounds for information on the pronunciation of each grapheme and also for alternative graphemes for the same sound. There are lots of useful websites you can use to support your child to practice for the Phonics Screening Check.